Hi guys, and welcome back to Beauty Fortified. We are in the party season, so I thought I would put together a look that's fairly straightforward using minimal products. So if you want to see how I went from this to this, then keep on watching. For foundation today, I'm going in with my MAC Studio Fix MAC Cream to Powder foundation, and I'm going to buff on just one layer of this. So I'm taking a flat foundation brush, just dabbing it into the foundation, and I'm just going to apply that in a thin layer all over my face. So you can use a little bit of concealer either before or after your foundation if you do need it, just to conceal if you have any blemishes or any spots, just to give you a really flawless coverage. But I find that this, if I don't have anything that needs specific concealing, this is a really beautiful foundation. It's just very smooth. It dries down to a powder. I do powder a little bit afterwards because I do have combination skin, and that's just to help the oils that will peek through throughout the day or throughout the night. But I really do like this foundation. I have been using it kind of non-stop for the past week or so. I just get into a groove with foundations. If I'm really enjoying a particular one, then I end up using it quite a lot. So I've got one layer of that on, and I think that that is sufficient for now. I can always go in a little bit later with a little bit more. So I'm going to go on straight onto the eyes. I'm not going to powder this foundation yet down just quite yet. I'm going to wait for it to set. So I'm going to go onto the eyes, starting on the eyes. I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder, and I just apply a light dusting of this onto my lids because I do have quite oily lids, and I find that this just helps with the eyeshadow application. So for this look, because it is quite a simple look, it's quite a minimal look, I'm going to be going in with just the one eyeshadow, and I'm going to be using, this is an eyeshadow from MAC, and it's in the shade Sandstone, so it's just quite a neutral brown color. And I'm going to be taking a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to apply this all over the lid and up onto the upper lid because I do have hooded eyes. And this is just a lovely shade for pushing back that hood slightly. So it's just going to make it recede slightly, but it is a very light neutral color because we're keeping the look quite simple. Just applying that all over. We are going to blend out any harsh edges in a bit. This is just to get a basic color down. And it really is a very neutral color. As I say, it just takes out any of the red that you might have on your lids. You can go in onto your lids with a little bit of concealer if you do have a lot of redness. But this is just a lovely one if you do have hooded lids, just to help set the lid back a little bit, just to help it recede. So I'm quite happy with that for now. We are going to go back in a bit just to make sure everything is blended. You can go a little bit heavier on the outer corner, just over here, if you just want to add a little bit of extra depth to that area of the eye. But for now, I'm quite happy with that. And then I'm going to take a small pencil brush, and I'm going to be using the same shadow in Sandstone, and I'm just going to gently line the lower lid. So we're not going to be emphasizing the lower lid with this look, just adding something to give a little hint of definition. Now I'm going to move on to the brows because we do want to not so much emphasize the brows, but just to add a little bit of brow gel where my brows are thinning and just to even them out slightly. So I'm taking a little spoolie and I'm going to just brush them all up in an upwards direction. And then I'm going to be going in with my Benefit Brow Pomade. And I have been using this a lot. Where is it gone? Over here. I've really been enjoying this. It's a really easy way just to fill in the brows. So it does come with a little slanted brush which fits into the lid, which I have used, and this brush is great. I'm going to use something just with a slightly longer handle, but it's the same thing. It's a very finely slanted brush. Just dabbing the tip of the brush into the pomade, and then starting with the angle, I'm just going to gently fill these in. So again, we don't want maximum emphasis on the brows, but this is just to neaten them up and just to fill in where I do have missing brows. So that's just helped to clean them up. So now I'm going to powder the foundation just a little bit. We're going to get back to the eyes in a minute. This is just the order that I like to do things, that I'm comfortable with. So taking a little bit more of my Maybelline Matte and Poreless, just taking a small powder brush, and I'm just going to powder down those areas where I have enlarged pores and where I'm going to apply a little bit of the cream of the powder blush. I'm going in with a powder today. So just taking away a little bit of the shine or any dewiness or any area where my pores need a little bit of TLC. And then I'm going to take a little bit of contour. I'm going in with an eyeshadow today. I use the MAC Omega eyeshadow just to give me a little bit of contour on my cheeks. And I'm taking, this is a contour brush, but I'm just using the tip of it. And I'm going to just apply a little bit of the eyeshadow to the brush, tip off the excess. And then I'm just going to gently apply a little bit of a contour underneath my cheekbone, and this just helps to emphasize my cheekbones. Just putting a little bit more on for the other side, tapping off the excess. You need to just go very, very slightly with this. You don't want it to look muddy. You just want to give the illusion of shadow. Just make sure that both sides are looking similar. Just a little bit of that. And if you have gone a little bit overboard, then you can take your foundation brush with whatever's left on the foundation brush and you can just clean it up. Now we're going to go back to the eyes. So I'm taking a fluffy, this is a blending brush, and I'm now just going to blend anything that looks a little bit harsh or that's not blended out. And the reason that I do jumble things up a little bit, my logic, is that if I'm working in one area for too long, I tend to lose perspective. So I like to go into other areas of my face, come back to the eyes, and then I can really see what needs doing. So that's the only reason that I jump around like that. Sometimes I'll come back to them and I find I might need to add a little bit more of the crease shade, and these are not things that I always see first time around. So that's the only reason why I do kind of jump around just a little bit. So I'm fairly happy with that. I mean, it's not difficult to blend this because it is such a neutral shade. So really I'm quite happy with that. Right. Having said that, I'm now going back onto the cheeks, and today I'm going in with, this is the MAC Cheek Color in Melba, and it is a beautiful peachy shade. It is quite a neutral peachy shade. Taking a little bit of that just on a blush brush, and I'm just going to gently apply it to the cheek just above where I've contoured, and then I am going to blend it into the contour at the same time. And I love this because it does give, it is very matte, so it just gives quite a polished finish. There's no shimmer to speak of, and being quite neutral, it does go with a lot of different lip shades as well. So it really is quite a workhorse, this blush. And it suits a multitude of skin tones as well. So it's a real staple for your blush wardrobe. My blush brush is shedding somewhat, which is a bit of a nuisance. But we just add in light layers just until you're happy. I do take a little bit onto the outer third of my cheek just to add a little bit of definition to my cheeks, just to make them look a little bit fuller than they actually are. But it's just a touch of blush, so it's really nothing hectic at all. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go back onto the eyes, and now I'm going to take a little bit of liner, and I'm going in with MAC Teddy, and I'm just going to gently line the upper lid where my eyelashes meet the upper lid, and just gently kind of get in between the lashes, and this will just help to give the upper lid and the lashes a little bit of extra definition. And we are going to put some falsies on at the end as well, and so you might then want to go over the falsies with a little bit of eye pencil. Now that I've applied that, I'm going to be going back in with my little pencil brush, this one, and I'm just going to soften that teddy pencil where I've put it onto the lid. Because my lids are quite crepey, I can't get a very smooth line with a pencil. I would need to use a liquid eyeliner. So I like to just go over it, and this just helps the pencil to blend. And now I'm going to go in with some mascara, and today I'm going in with my Revlon So Fierce. I really like this one. It does lengthen, it does add a little bit of volume. I quite like the bristle brush as well. So I'm going to go in with 2 coats of this on my upper lashes. So that's the lashes done. Before I add the falsies, I'm just going to wait for them to dry a little bit, and I'm going to add a little bit of cheek highlight, and I'm going in with the Catrice Luminice highlighting palette. I absolutely love this. I use the shade in the middle. It's a goldy champagne shade. I'm taking a small highlighting brush, and I'm just going to dip that into the shade, and I'm just going to go onto the tops of my cheekbones, just very gently, just with a little bit of shimmer. And I really like this one as a drugstore, as far as drugstore highlights go. It really is very pretty. So I quite like that. So I've just put on a tiny bit of that. And now we're going to go on to the falsies. So I'm going to apply just an outer lash. So if you do struggle with false eyelashes, which I do, one way to go is to get the lashes that just cover the outer third of your eye. And the ones that I'm using today are from MAC. They come in a little container like that, and they do have a size on them. I will put the exact name down below. I think they're A50 or something to that effect. And what's really nice about them is that they do come with the outer corner lashes. So they just look like that. So they're a little bit longer on the one side than the other, and obviously the longer side is going to go onto the outside of your eye. And these will just give you, they will help to give a little bit of extra definition without the fuss of wearing a full false eyelash. So it is a little bit of practice to apply these. And what I do is I take the lash between a pair of tweezers like that, and I'm going to add a little bit of lash glue to these. They don't come with glue, so I've got a little bit of lash glue from another set. These do actually feel a little bit sticky, but I don't think the stick is enough to hold the lash on your eye. So I'm going to add a little bit more glue, and just taking the glue, I'm going to gently just apply it to the outer edge of the lash. And then you need to let this dry for about, I would say about 30 seconds or so. And then I'm taking the lash between my fingers, between my tweezers should I say, making sure that that side is the longest side, because that's going to be going over here on the eye. And then just gently I'm going to raise my lid like that, and we're just going to pop this on where your real eyelashes meet your upper lid, and I'm just going to maneuver it into place like that. You just need to use your tweezers just to position it. But once you've practiced a little bit, it does get a little bit easier. So that's the one done. I'm going to apply the other one off camera, and then I will be back and we will finish off with the lips. So once the lashes are on and you're happy with the placement, you can then go and just touch up the liner on the upper lid. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go in with the pencil liner because it is a little bit, the texture is not really soft enough. So I'm going to go back in with my Benefit brow pomade, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the angled brush, and I'm going to use that just to touch up any areas that need a little bit more color, or if you do want to hide the band of the lashes, you can just use either a liquid liner, or you can go back in with your pencil liner if you're happy with it. But just to gently fix up any areas and go over the band where your eyelashes, your false eyelashes meet your real eyelashes. And now onto lips. So I'm going in with quite a retro pink, and this is from MAC. It's from the Lustre range, and it's in the shade Sea Sheer. It's quite a beautiful, it's kind of a 60s pink, I suppose you could describe it as. And then I'm going to line my lips. I'm going in with my NYX liner, and that is in the color Ever. So guys, that is a finished look. So it's really not as complicated as it looks. I think the only complication would be the false eyelashes. You absolutely do not need the false eyelashes. They do take a little bit of practice. So I hope you enjoyed this look. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Ciao, ciao.